Hello and many thanks for joining us on the news at 10 on NTA News 24. We are live in Abuja. I am Chinenye Moye. First, let's bring you the headlines. Federal government assures of decisive steps in tackling insecurity.
Safety and security don't just happen. They are the result of collective consensus and public investment. And we owe our children, the most vulnerable citizens in our society, a life free of violence and fear.
Senate approves President Tinubu's request to deploy troops to Republic of Benin for peacekeeping. Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps intercepts underage children from tracker.
Investigation is ongoing, and after investigation, we are going to hand them over to NAPTI.
And wave of defection as two governors move to opposing parties. Many thanks for joining us. Nigeria is taking decisive steps in tackling security challenges in the country and is acting promptly to address the concerns. Vice President Kashim Shettima stated this when participants of the Executive Intelligence Management Course 18 of the National Institute for Security Studies visited him at the presidential villa. State House correspondent Abdurrahman Jibrila reports.
This meeting is timely as these representatives of the 78 participants are here to present the executive brief of their end-of-course report as Nigeria seeks solutions to security challenges from sincere partners, and Vice President Kashim Shettima on hand to receive the brief on behalf of President Tinubu. Led by the Commandant National Institute for Security Studies, Joseph Odama, Vice President Kashim Shettima, obviously impressed with the composition of the Course 18 participants, says the significance of the program, which had participants drawn from ministries, departments and agencies within Nigeria and beyond.
As Nelson Mandela rightly said, safety and security don't just happen. They are the result of collective consensus and public investment. And we owe our children, the most vulnerable citizens in our society, a life free of violence and fear. The President will act on your recommendations because they are based on informed analysis and global best practices.
Issues that border on our nation in terms of security and national development. We have provided some insights, and the Vice President has equally giving us some inputs into some aspects of the study which we've carried out.
Presentation of the report titled Non-State Actors and Security Management in Africa, Issues, Challenges and Prospects for Peace and Development. Part of the recommendations made by the participants was the formal harmonization and integration of a country-based security initiative as part of a broad strategy to strengthen the existing legal framework for peace and conflict resolution across Nigeria and Africa. From the State House, Abraham Jibrila, NTA News.
The Nigerian Senate has granted expeditious approval to President Bola Tinubu's request to deploy Nigerian troops to the Republic of Benin for peacekeeping mission. The deployment is in line with ECOWAS protocol and in conformity with the provisions of Section 5, Part 2 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. National Assembly correspondent Lami Ali reports.
Will the Senate approve the request of Mr. President to deploy Nigerian troops to the Republic of Benin for peace mission? Those in support say aye, and those against say nay. The ayes have it.
Consideration of the president's request was the significant issue at plenary as lawmakers praised President Tinubu's quick response to restoring democratic governance in Benin Republic following the Batch coup.
This is in tandem with the thinking of well-meaning Nigerians that democracy should not be endangered.
I equally commend Mr. President for acting swiftly to forestall the collapse of democracy in sister nation.
He does it in consultation with the National Defense Council. The president had done the right thing.
We provided all we could to support our brothers and sisters in the rest of Africa. So the role of the president is, again, in tandem with what past leaders of Nigeria had always done. But the swiftness of this action is what made the Nigerian Senate to give its consent.
ECOWAS Parliament also appreciated the government of Nigeria on the intervention.
The ECOWAS Parliament asked me to convey the message of the ECOWAS Parliament to the President through this August Senate, that what the President did was the highest thing any country could do to save democracy anywhere in the world.
Another issue of concern that featured at today's plenary is the recent hike of air travel costs, leading to a resolution to invite Minister of Aviation and other stakeholders for an interaction.
From Abuja to Lagos ranges from 400 to 650,000. And then from here to Enugu, it's about 500,000.
This is over 400% increment at a go. We never had it this way, Mr. President. And that takes us to the question to the Ministry of Aviation of Federal Republic of Nigeria. When are we going to have back our Nigeria Air?
It looks nice on the surface, but it does not work for the airline owners. This is a law of demand and supply. The spare parts are costly, everything is very high, and you cannot put the life of our citizens.
There is this intervention by the Central Bank of Nigeria, while so many airline operators were given some consideration, in some exemption, concessional rates. And up to now, and I know it's still on.
In another motion, Senate asked the Minister of Education to exclude SS3 students from the latest 2026 WAEC guideline.
The Minister of Education can't wake up overnight and say from June, you shall be examined for a subject that you probably have not been taught, or you don't even have people to teach it.
A bill to establish National Health Facilities Regulatory Agency, sponsored by Senator Samaila Kaila, passed second reading.
To ensure compliance with standards and accreditation for care quality and safety assurance.
Each of these segments is self-regulating. I don't know why we are coming up with this overall regulatory body.
From the National Assembly, Lami Ali, NTA News.
The House of Representatives has engaged the Minister of Finance, Wale Edun, as well as his budget and economic planning counterpart, Atiku Bagudu, in a closed-door session on the floor of the House. The session, which lasted 2.5 hours, was chaired by Speaker Abbas Tajuddin. Neither the ministers nor lawmakers disclosed the issues deliberated behind closed doors. It would, however, be recalled that lawmakers have recently expressed concern over delay in implementation of the capital component of the 2025 Appropriation Act. The proposed constitution amendment debate, billed to commence this week, was suspended for the executive session with the ministers. Thereafter, Speaker Abbas Tajuddin announced the defection of member representing Aleru Gwandu Jega Federal Constituency, Mansour Musa, who has left the PDP for the APC. And Rivers State Governor Similaye Fubara has officially announced his defection from the People's Democratic Party, PDP, to the All Progressives Congress, APC. He disclosed that his decision came on the heels of the presidential protection he received during the political crisis in the state. Kingsley Amajiri reports.
Barely 24 hours after consultation with President Bola Tinubu in Abuja, Governor Fubara is back to the state to meet with his supporters. The governor, who met with key stakeholders, anxiously waiting to know the outcome of his meeting with the president, said the decision to join the APC is anchored on the intervention of Mr. President during the political crisis in Rivers State.
Our only thank you to Mr. President is to support him. Yes. And we can't support Mr. President if we don't fully identify with him, not backyard support. So we have taken that decision today. Since we've gotten the pass, our decision today, we are moving to APC.
The latest development coming a couple of days after 17 members of Rivers State House of Assembly joined the APC now seals the consolidation of the ruling party in the state. In Port Harcourt, Kingsley Amajiri, NTA News.
Meanwhile, the Kabiru Turaki-led People's Democratic Party has reacted to the defection of Rivers State Governor Similaye Fubara to the Governing All Progressives Congress. The party's factional national publicity secretary, Ini Ememobong, in a statement issued in Abuja, described the move as a self-inflicted injury and a culmination of choices the governor willingly embraced. It added that Fubara's political troubles and eventual departure were products of his own decisions and cannot turn around, and accused the PDP or any other person or group of failing to protect him. And Osun State Governor Senator Ademola Adeleke has finally ended months of political suspense, publicly declaring for the Accord Party after resigning from the People's Democratic Party, PDP. He made the announcement at the Government House, Oshobo, confirming fresh political realignments ahead of the 2026 governorship election. Femi Afariogun reports.
As the national chairman of Accord, I hereby present officially your membership card to you.
Accord is the new political home of Governor Ademola Adeleke, as national and state executives of the party welcomed him with open arms during his formal declaration at the Government House in Oshobo. Addressing stakeholders, Adeleke revealed that he secretly defected to Accord as far back as November 6. After weeks of consultation, he explained that the party's philosophy of welfareism aligns with his administration's commitment to citizens and workers' welfare.
Today, we unveil the new platform for the good people of Osun State. Osun voted for good governance in 2022, and they will support continuity in 2026. The mass of our people are for continuity, and Accord is our party for victory next year. Today's unveiling signals a new chapter, one where Accord continues to give bridges, expand its national footprint, and offer Nigerians a credible alternative.
Governor Adeleke urged the people to continue to support good governance under his administration in Osun State. In Osogbo, Femi Afariogun, NTA News.
This is the news at 10 on NTA News 24. There will be more reports when we return after this break. Please stay.
Furniture's legendary final sale of the year is here. This festive season, enjoy extra savings on luxury and comfortable sofa sets, modern and functional dining sets, sophisticated and smart bed sets, and our royal collections, classy, premium, and truly exclusive. Shop 10 million naira and receive a complimentary Daisy tea set. Spend 15 million and take home a 65-inch smart TV. Go higher at 20 million and experience unmatched comfort with our exclusive massage chair. Visit our showrooms in Abuja, Lagos, Kano, and Enugu, or shop online. It's big, it's bold, it's unforgettable. It's Baffy Furniture.
And the National Productivity Order of Merit Award goes to...
auto paste manufacturer to win the National Productivity Order of Merit Award by the Federal Government of Nigeria, endorsed by the Association of Private Medical Practitioners of Nigeria. This is an evidence of 100% natural goodness. Eat healthy to live longer. Buy now and enjoy up to 20% discount.
Feel the power of precision, engineered to perfection. Every component is crafted with care, and each design is meticulously tested. From concept to creation, our engineers push the boundaries of technology, seamlessly blending performance and sustainability with a deep commitment to African ingenuity. Introducing the CNG Boss, a remarkable achievement in engineering designed to operate on compressed natural gas, a cleaner and more sustainable fuel alternative. At Innocent Vehicles, we proudly lead the way in creating greener mobility across Africa. And it doesn't stop there. From SUVs to sedans, spacious buses to electric cars, Innocent offers a wide range of models designed to meet every need. Innocent Vehicle, the pride of African roads.
This is NTA News 24.
Many thanks for staying on. Young Nigerians are now driving the task of ending poverty, improved healthcare and education, better environment, as well as other sustainable development goals, SDGs, through production of captivating short films. This is as many continue to leverage the Sustainable Development Goals Short Film Challenge to produce compelling films that raise awareness about the 17 SDGs. Joseph Osen reports that sessions on achieving SDGs also held at the grand finales.
A refreshing moment for young filmmakers in the building. The new breed exploring their creativity to resolve global challenges as captured in the Sustainable Development Goals.
Filmmakers are usually invited to produce compelling short films of not more than 15 minutes that spotlight development challenges, propose solutions, and inspire citizens' engagement.
Inequality persists across the globe. Poverty remaining. Our climate cry for urgent action. And the world is waiting for us to step up and save it.
We need the filmmaker in Kano who can tell the story of climate resilience in Hausa, or the animator in Enugu who can explain gender equality to a 10-year-old in a way that will make her sit up straighter.
2,265 films from 140 countries made entries for the 2025 Sustainable Development Goals Short Film Challenge, surpassing 350 last year and 73 in 2023 when the competition was initiated. The film's cast, with a storyline depicting disadvantages of early marriage and other challenges women go through, emerged overall winner for 2025. The film Toll Free came second, and My Reality, the social media facade, took the third position.
So our film addressed the issue of VVF among a girl child, which is the repercussion of so many things like forced marriage, obstructed labor, lack of medical care, and all of these things.
The first thing we implore them to do is to approach the United Nations or the international donor or diplomatic community to know the exact expectations. For example, in climate change, what are the areas you want us to do something? What are the results you want us to achieve?
To ensure buy-in and acceptability on the part of the people is to take the message to them.
The event, put together by the Office of the Senior Special Assistant to the President on SDGs in partnership with United Nations and Fresh News Multimedia, aims at utilizing storytelling as a vital tool to driving home SDGs. Joseph Oten, NTA News.
The World Bank has approved the second phase of Nigeria COVID-19 Action, Recovery and Economic Stimulus, NGCARES, with an additional $500 million. Benny Adams reports that the focus this time is on strengthening community action for resilience. This was at a national training of stakeholders on anti-corruption measures in Abuja.
4 years into the implementation of the World Bank-supported Nigeria COVID-19 Action, Recovery and Economic Stimulus, also known as NGCARES program, the World Bank today says Nigeria has done well in meeting the needs of the poor and vulnerable and therefore deserves more funding.
The bank said they will give us additional financing based on the request of the state governors and of course the federal government, and additional financing of another $500 million that will enable us deepen the current ongoing impact that the program has achieved.
This time, the emphasis moves to strengthening community action for resilience.
As a result of this training and the changes we are making in the system, we are going to see value for money. I want to assure the federal government, assure the World Bank, assure state government that this huge investment will indeed be very, very profitable, and the poor and vulnerable in Nigeria will get a full measure.
To ensure greater success, NGCARES and ICPC are raising 120 anti-corruption agents to track the monies to ensuring effective utilization.
We've been able to reach out to people. We've seen how, as much as possible, we stabilize them.
The next phase of the NGCARES is zero corruption.
So no matter what money has been earmarked or released for any program, if integrity is not there, it will not make any impact.
The first phase had a World Bank support of $750 million US, with states investing in excess of $2.2 billion. In Abuja, Benny Adams, NTA News.
Nigerian National Petroleum Company Exploration and Production Limited, the flagship upstream subsidiary of NNPC Limited, achieved a record production level of 355,000 barrels of oil per day on December 1st, 2025, its highest daily output since 1989. A statement by Andy Ode, Chief Corporate Communications Officer, NNPC Limited, says the milestone marks a significant step forward for Nigeria's upstream sector and reflects the company's ongoing transformation anchored on efficiency and discipline. He noted that the figures represent genuine transformation, with average daily production surged at 52%, rising from 203,000 barrels per day in 2023 to 312,000 in 2025. The presidential targets of 2 million barrels per day by 2027 and 3 million by 2030 have often appeared aspirational, and now NNPCL's delivery brings this closer to reality. Kogi State Governor Usman Ododo has unveiled the Ajaokuta Economic City, a project expected to attract between $2 billion and $5 billion in foreign direct investment to Nigeria over the next 7 years. Olusheye Adeabo reports that the federal government-backed project, already granted presidential approval, is hailed by stakeholders as a transformative venture poised to reshape Kogi State's position in both national and global commerce.
The unveiling ceremony drew government officials, business leaders, traditional rulers, community representatives, and a Chinese delegation. The event signaled the operational takeoff of the Ajaokuta Free Trade Zone, earlier approved by the federal government. The Free Trade Zone is projected to generate thousands of direct and indirect jobs, expand Kogi State's tax base, and strengthening Nigeria's position in both regional and continental trade.
Profound gratitude to the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, His Excellency President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, GCFR, for his visionary leadership and untiring support for this project.
Governor Usman Ododo described the economic city as a transformative leap toward industrialization, trade expansion, and wealth creation for the people of Kogi State and beyond.
We have strengthened intelligence operations, enhanced surveillance system, and deepened our collaboration with national security agencies. The Ajakuta Economic City will operate under a dedicated security framework to protect lives, infrastructure, and capital. We understand that investment thrives in safe environment, and we are committed to providing exactly just that.
And you're also having governmentally guaranteed different types of modelings that focuses on basically development of Africa.
The engagements in Abuja marked the first phase of the project, with construction expected to unfold in stages. Key stakeholders involved in implementing the project pledged to play their part in actualizing what has been widely described as a long-awaited step toward unlocking the region's vast economic potential.
A free trade zone, what makes it impossible for North Central to link it up with railway connectivity to Nasarawa, to Kwara, to Plateau, to all parts of the zone. So we're indeed profoundly grateful, and I want to assure you, Your Excellency, that NCDC have our back, will have your back. We'll support you wherever possible.
I'm telling investors to make sure that they rush down to Kogi State because it's a new hub for investment, secured, and above all, the enabling environment created by His Excellency. The FDI that the zone will be attracting is going to be enormous.
If successfully delivered, the Ajakuta Free Trade Zone Economic City is set to become one of Nigeria's most ambitious economic corridors, transforming Kogi into a competitive industrial hub and contributing significantly to the nation's overall prosperity. In Abuja, Olusheye Adiagbo, NTA News.
Let's take another break here. We'll be back shortly. This thing.
Let's have credible elections at the local government so that these credible people can manage the funds of local government properly.
There are a lot of respected traditional rulers in the state who can say, look, enough of this thing. Mr. Governor, welcome. Thank you for coming. When you win, what will you do?
First, I would like to mobilize women within the local government to form the National Council of Women Society. By creating awareness in women that they must serve, they must be part of what is happening within their community.
If you stop expenditure on infrastructure, how do you now attract investments?
The state governors, the presidency, that the federal government and the local government are all waiting for revenue from crude oil. Every state has something peculiar. So the emphasis now, if your local government has something peculiar to that particular local government, the emphasis should be keep producing that particular product.
You need to do three things. Prevent the ability of the terrorist groups to generate funding, their ability to recruit, and then their ability to access weapons.
Actually, like this new title, I sit in the front row in the church. If I'm going to Muslim and call the people are passing in God's own house. What am I doing? I'm mentoring a new generation. They say that the only way to be taken seriously is to listen to have a lot of money.
Nigeria, live every weekday between 7 a.m. and 9 a.m. on the network service of the NTA. This is NTA News 24.
It's good to know you're still there. Stakeholders across national frontiers are coming under one umbrella to chart a new dawn for the nation's education sector for the attainment of measurable achievements. This was at the Nigeria Governors Forum Education Summit with the theme, Pathway to Sustainable Education Financing, a synergy between the town and gown in Nigeria. Abubakar Akwanga reports.
The Nigeria's Governors Forum Education Sector Department is pulling this weight of creme de la creme in the nation's education body. And the national platform is to create more access for funding across tiers of learning institutions in Nigeria, where the renewed hope agenda has already set the pace.
Nursery is more than a federal roadmap. It is shared federal state compact co-design in collaboration with the Nigeria Governors Forum, state ministries, and key stakeholders. Today, I stand before you with a clear message. Nigeria's education transformation is already on the way.
In 2025, state government collectively increased education budgets by 53%, from 2.4 trillion to 3.6 trillion naira, driven largely by a 69% rise in capital allocation. But the impact of this commitment is constrained by the execution.
Federal government, UBEC and NELFON interventions, transformative reforms, and other policies and programs in the sector is shaping conversations by stakeholders.
UBE grants also increased from about 1.3 billion to over 3.3 billion per state, allowing each state to access more than 6.6 billion through counterpart funding. NELFON has opened a new doors of opportunities. Created under the Student Loans Act of 2024, it has disbursed 86.3 billion to over 450,000 students in 218 tertiary institutions.
The renewed hope agenda reforms in the education sector, some states and partners were recognized for their funding and other contributions to the sector. In Abuja, Abubakar Akwanga, NTA News.
The Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps, NSCDC, says it is committed to strengthening national security architecture with renewed focus on securing schools and safeguarding critical national assets and infrastructure. This was the highlight of the Corps' quarterly conference held at the national headquarters, Abuja. Dennis Temple reports.
One of the core mandates of the Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps is the protection of critical national assets and infrastructure, among which schools and education sector remain integral. However, the recent resurgence of attack on schools across parts of the country has raised fresh concerns about the safety of learners and teachers. Recognizing the urgency of the situation, the Commandant General of the Corps, Professor Ahmed Abubakar Audi, charged officers and commandants from the 36 states and the FCT to rise to the occasion and justify the confidence reposed in them.
We have also the schools protection, where the Corps is also asked to provide sector security to schools. And what we have been doing so far has been able to bring down the level of attacks, except recently when perhaps we didn't know, we're still trying to find out and investigate and to properly interrogate that sector.
The Commandant General revealed that recent intelligence-driven operations have prevented several acts of vandalism, oil theft, and sabotage across the country.
That the Corps have chipped in very professionally to the renewed hope agenda of the President in terms of the provision of safety and security for Nigerians.
While handing over insurance benefits to deceased officers and those who sustained injuries in the course of the job, the conference featured strategic sessions behind closed doors where zonal and state commandants reviewed operational reports. In Abuja, Dennis Temple, NTA News.
Kogi State government has reiterated its position against child trafficking, infiltration of criminals, and any form of security threats in the state. This followed the interception of a group of underage children trafficked into the state in what is suspected to be a covert recruitment for banditry training. Solomon Ayedein reports.
The 21 minors aged between 6 and 17 years allegedly trafficked into Kogi State were intercepted in a Solu, Yagba East local government area of the state by officers and men of the Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps, working in collaboration with other security agencies. The children are alleged to have been trafficked from different parts of the country under suspicious circumstances by adults who could not provide any justification for their movement in a truck alongside other individuals connected. This raises security concerns as they were alleged to be on their way for the establishment of an Islamic school in Yagba East when they were intercepted and taken to the NSCDC office in Lokoja for detailed investigation and profiling of all persons involved.
Investigation is ongoing, and after investigation, we are going to hand them over to NAPTIP. But due to the absence of NAPTIP in Kogi State Command, Kogi State Environ, we are handing them over to the Ministry of Women Affairs, who are going to take custody of those children.
Meanwhile, the Kogi State Governor Ahmed Usman Ododo has directed the Ministry of Women Affairs and Social Development to take custody of the minors pending the conclusion of the investigation. Upon completion of profiling and investigation, the children are to be handed over to their respective state governments for further investigation and reintegration with their families. The command warns that all individuals found culpable in the child trafficking will be prosecuted in line with the Kogi State's child trafficking and child rights protection laws. In Lokoja, Solomon Ayedehi, NTA News.
The Nigeria Police Force has shown its weight behind voluntary blood donation as a critical national life-saving mission. Francis Form reports that the collaboration with the 3AM Foundation in partnership with the National Blood Agency is to mark the 2025 National Blood Donor Day celebration with the theme From Headlines to Lifelines, Media Advocacy for Voluntary Blood Donation.
Personnel of the Nigeria Police Force were seen filing into the force headquarters hangar in Abuja, rolling up their sleeves and taking turns to donate blood in a coordinated show of service beyond the call of duty. The exercise formed parts of activities to commemorate the 2025 National Blood Donor Day, organized by the Nigeria Police Force in collaboration with 3AM Foundation and the National Blood Service Agency. Among the officers leading by example was Mohammed Nasir Suleiman, a personnel attached to the force headquarters and in charge of access control. Calm and resolute, Suleiman took his place on the donor's chair, marking his third time donating blood in support of the life-saving initiative. Suleiman said his participation was driven by the understanding that single pins of blood can make the difference between life and death, especially for accident victims, expectant mothers, and patients requiring emergency care.
I've been doing just to save life, so that's what I've been doing.
His repeated commitment, organizers say, reflects the growing culture of voluntary blood donation being championed within the force. The donation exercise underscored the Nigeria Police Force's resolve to support humanitarian causes that directly affect public health and national well-being.
When you donate blood, you're actually gifting your fellow human being, so blood doesn't have a price. We can't put a price to blood, so donating blood to save another person's life is like a gift.
In Nigeria, with our population, the blood we have in the blood banks is not adequate to cover our population, so we need to bridge that gap.
Officials noted that policing goes beyond security enforcement to include proactive engagement in initiatives that save lives. Francis from NTA News.
Did you know that there are more traditional birth attendants than midwives in Nigeria? Despite their number, the country still rates high in cases of maternal mortality. Now, to reverse the trend, Healthy and Safe Motherhood Foundation is empowering traditional birth attendants from the FCT with skills and delivery kits. Sawa Khalil Ibrahim reports.
In rural settings such as this,
Pregnant women may have to travel long distance for antenatal service. To avoid such stress, many rely on traditional birth attendants, TBA. Some of them lack basic knowledge and the equipment to handle emergency cases during birth, which could cost life.
I gave birth at home. It was easy. There was no complication.
That attitude they put forth turns these women away from hospital. You can imagine a woman with disability who is pregnant. The health worker will be like, "Madam, you know, get leg, you go carry belly. You know, they pity yourself. Men are wicked, sha. You know, they get withdrawn."
You may go that you are helping a patient. At the long run, if it doesn't go on well, they may not look at it as if you helped the person. But if they identify with us and they recognize us, then we can do it properly.
Because this is a national... Here, however, are 100 traditional birth attendants being equipped and trained with basic skills as well as birth kits to save life.
Exposing them to interventions that would reduce maternal mortality like hemorrhage and linking them to access to easy medications, things like oxytocin and injections that are important in cutting down bleeding.
Majority of the people that are parents, are in the mid and elderly aged, were given birth to by these people. So this is how important they are to the society, and we have to empower them.
It's a national emergency, and we see the traditional birth attendant as a national solution at grassroots intervention level.
Considering the importance of traditional birth attendants to the society, training and equipping them adequately could be the solution to maternal mortality in Nigeria. In Abuja, Salwa Khalil Ibrahim, NTA News.
This is the news at 10 on NTA News 24. Let's take another look at our major stories. Federal government assures of decisive steps in tackling insecurity.
Safety and security don't just happen. They are the result of collective consensus and public investment. And we owe our children, the most vulnerable citizens in our society, a life free of violence and fear.
Senate approves President Tinubu's request to deploy troops to Republic of Benin for peacekeeping. Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps intercepts underage children from trafficker.
Investigation is ongoing, and after investigation, we are going to hand them over to NAPTIP.
And wave of defection as two governors move to opposing parties. The Northwest inter-religious leaders in Abuja are speaking with one voice for the unity and stability of the nation. Bishop Timothy Cheren of the Nigerian Clerics Council of Bishops and Imams made their voice heard loud at a pre-Northwest Peace and Humanitarian Summit. The religious leaders commended the courage and political will of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu to tackle security challenges facing the country, especially the appointment of General Christopher Musa as Minister of Defense, who they say has good understanding of the situation at hand.
Our purpose is to ensure that we continue to build bridges of cooperation and unity so that Nigeria can become a strong and indivisible nation, which was the purpose of our founding fathers. Government must not be cowed into submitting to any invasion by any foreign power, as this has not done any nation any good, as no one can solve our problems more than we ourselves.
The religious leaders urged all Nigerians to work towards unifying the nation to thrive. The Christmas spirit came alive in Abuja as the Nigerian Baptist Convention put smiles on the faces of over 100 widows from the northern region, gifting them food items and empowerment materials. The event, held at First Baptist Church, Garaki, felt more like a festival of hope as widows rejoiced, sang and celebrated a season that often meets them with challenges. Ekene Ndulwe reports.
It is the Yuletide season once again, a time filled with celebration, compassion and shared joy. And as it has done over the years, the Nigerian Baptist Convention is using this season to reassure widows across the country that they are not forgotten. The church is supporting them with empowerment materials, food items and cash support, encouraging them to remain steadfast in their faith.
Last year, what we did was financial empowerment. But this year, we have taken it to another level of giving equipment to our widows who are younger, like in their 40s, and they still have little children in school. We think by empowering them, they become independent and they can be able to, provide for their own.
All they need to do is to be encouraged in the Lord and then to be strong in the faith, trusting God that God, who is the husband of the widows,
agricultural output, production declines, and the resulting impacts on inflation. A survey and data released under the National Agribusiness Policy Mechanism revealed declines in the performance of some crops, including rice, sorghum, and maize, while soybeans recorded relatively good output. The report also indicates a sharp drop in fertilizer usage during the season as farmers grappled with soaring costs.
Mr. President is not looking at how many workshops did you have, how many meetings did you have. He wants to look at what is the change in food production and productivity, right? Are we increasing our yields or not? He wants to know how much have we invested or attracted investment in the sector, how many jobs have been created. He wants to know how are we improving our institutions.
Here in this hall, policymakers, farmers and economists are gathered to discuss the seasonal report and prepare for the 2025-2026 dry season farming activities. The two-day event is organized by the Presidential Food Systems Coordinating Unit, Office of the Vice President. Musa Baba Aliyu, NTA News.
Cambodia and Thailand clashes spread across the borders as toll rises. Also, Trump administration launches immigration crackdown in New Orleans. Details on the foreign scene.
Fighting between Thailand and Cambodia spread to more parts of their contested border on Tuesday, forcing a mass exodus of civilians as the renewed hostilities derailed a U.S.-brokered truce. At least 10 soldiers and civilians have been killed on both sides in the latest spate of fighting. Thailand and Cambodia dispute the colonial-era demarcation of their 800-kilometer frontier. This week's clashes are the deadliest since 5 days of fighting in July before a shaky truce was agreed, in large part owing to intervention by U.S. President Donald Trump. Both sides blame each other for sparking the renewed clashes, which on Tuesday expanded to 5 provinces of both Thailand and Cambodia. So far, more than 500,000 people have fled their homes to safety in Thailand and Cambodia since the start of the conflict. The U.S. Department of Homeland Security, DHS, launched an immigration crackdown on Wednesday in New Orleans, the latest Democratic-run city to be targeted by the Trump administration. DHS Secretary Kristi Noem said immigration and customs enforcement agents will remove the worst of the worst from New Orleans, Louisiana, after the city's sanctuary politicians have ignored the rule of law. Sanctuary policies enacted by the local authorities in